My parents guilt-tripped me into a simple backyard ceremony, but when I found out they paid for my sister's lavish wedding, I decided to flip the script. I never thought my wedding would destroy my family. Not for its excess or controversy. Quite opposite. My gracious parents insisted on a simple, quiet, humble affair. No venue, photographer, or big guest list. Just a homemade arch in my parents' backyard and a Costco shake if we were fancy. I reluctantly agreed because I've always maintained peace. The nodding, low-demanding one. Something snapped inside me when I learned what they did for my sister. This was the first time I stopped being the easy child. My name's Ethan. I'm 32 and the firstborn to, we're doing our best parenting. The type you know. Who gets off-brand shoes while your younger sibling has Nike in 4 colors by 10? The one who is praised for being mature when it meant doing everything alone. That doesn't mean my childhood was bad. My parents weren't evil. But there was always a hint of favoritism. One current was named Chloe. Younger sister Chloe is 2 years younger. Since I can remember, my parents have revolved around her. For Chloe, every school play, birthday party, and scraped knee was a production. She was always sensitive, needed more attention, and had meltdowns while I was told to be strong and understand she doesn't mean it. And I did. I played the role they gave me, smiled, got good grades, worked part-time jobs to buy my own car, and put myself through college. When I got engaged to Sophia after 6 years together, I thought it might be the last time they celebrated me. They didn't. My engagement to Sophia wasn't grand. I proposed on a weekend hike with her with a ring I'd saved for over a year. She wept. I wept. It was perfect. My parents weren't happy when we told them. Concern. My mom said, "Weddings are expensive," with passive-aggressive worry. "You're not thinking of doing something big, are you?" My dad said earnestly. Sophia glanced at me. "Money's tight, Ty. Maybe think about something low-key. Backyard, family only. Keep it humble, you know." I swallowed my disappointment and nodded. We'd been researching affordable venues and photographers to keep things affordable while still having a special day. "Yeah," I said, "we can figure something out." Not to pressure them. I knew they were broke, but I foolishly assumed they'd help out occasionally. They didn't. Whenever I mentioned a wedding detail in the following weeks, they had a reason to reject it. "We can get flowers at Costco, speaker and playlist for music. No DJ needed. Stand-up seating, I doubt it'll last." Every conversation was a negotiation where we were unreasonable for wanting more than a potluck under their string lights. The worst part was the tone. It implied we were selfish and that asking for anything beyond paper plates and backyard folding chairs was burdensome. Sophia initially tried to understand. She didn't grow up with guilt tripping, so I could tell it confused her. She offered compromises, DIY options, and fun, but was dismissed every time. My mom would say, "You're not one of those brides who needs everything perfect, right?" Half laughing but with that edge. Sophia smiled politely, but her enthusiasm waned. In the early stages, asking my mom to borrow the backyard to confirm was the final straw. She blinks like it's a silly question. "Of course, that's the whole idea, right? We're saving you the cost of a venue," she added. "But we won't be paying for any cleanup or catering. You'll have to handle all that. We're just offering the space." People say your wedding should be about you, but mine was starting to feel like a handout. I assured myself we'd make it ours. That love counted. Something kept pulling me. A strange gut feeling I couldn't shake. A feeling of silence. That feeling persisted, especially after Chloe's engagement. It happened 4 months after our announcement. On a yacht during a weekend trip to the coast, Chloe's boyfriend Jack, a nice but spineless guy, proposed. They had Instagram photos, champagne toasts, and a highlight reel before leaving the boat. Mom reposted all photos. Dad commented on them all with heart emojis. Sophia and I watched from our apartment on our second-hand couch, drinking wine from mismatched glasses. Sophia remained quiet. I quieted. When we called to congratulate Chloe, she was ecstatic. "We're thinking of doing something really magical," said. "Like a vineyard or something rustic but elegant, you know?" I nodded, trying to cheer her up. We weren't asked about plans. She never inquired about our well-being. Next time I saw my parents, they buzzed. "Chloe's venue is so beautiful," my mom said. "And they found this photographer with the most amazing portfolio. Expensive, but totally worth it." I saw. "Wait, you've seen the venue?" "Oh, we went with them last week. She said they needed help with the deposit, but it's going to be stunning. A real fairy tale." "Help with the deposit?" I said nothing. "Yes," I nodded. Let rest. I didn't want to assume. However, Sophia's mother, who lives 2 states away, called the following week to offer assistance. Her regret was her inability to do more. Sophia, bless her, went into tears. My mind raced as I stared at the ceiling that night. It didn't make sense. My digging began quietly and casually. A few texts and conversations led to what made me queasy. My parents helped with more than Chloe's deposit. They paid for most things: catering, photographer, live band, venue, custom invitations. Finally, they gave Chloe and Jack a 2-week Italian honeymoon package. $22,000 for first-class flights, boutique hotels, private tours. That was all. I stared at the email number. Not supposed to see. She accidentally CC'd me on a chain with her travel agent. My hands shook. They said they couldn't afford a photographer, chairs, or a simple venue. They pressure us into having our wedding in their backyard with a Bluetooth speaker and deli meat folding table. Now they were sponsoring Chloe's Italian fantasy like a royal wedding. I didn't cry. No screaming. I didn't yell at them. I sat in the dark, feeling something cold and sharp inside me. I stopped being the good son. Smiled instead of confronting them. I nodded. I let them think the backyard wedding continued. I even asked for help choosing a modest ceremony dress shirt. I planned another event while they planned Chloe's Cinderella ball. No one expected this. Before that, you must know how far they went to humiliate me. It got worse. Much worse. Wish I could say I confronted them immediately. That I confronted them, demanded answers, and reclaimed my dignity in righteous rage. But I didn't. Played along. I was raised this way. Not to disrupt. Do not look up. Maintain peace. Maintain a smile. And I did. The intimate backyard setup tablecloth color texts made me smile for weeks. Nodded as my mom sent me clearance fairy light photos. Heard my dad complain about the cost of mulch for their garden, where we were supposed to get married. They treated us like another landscaping task. Chloe's wedding posts flew across social media, featuring gold foil invitations, bridesmaid proposal boxes with luxury skincare, and a champagne brunch in a limo dress shopping trip. My parents smiled, held dress bags, and toasting with champagne flutes in every photo like they were in a Hallmark movie. I pretended throughout. Pretending ignorance. I pretended gratitude. I pretended I wasn't falling apart. Sophia noticed. Of course she did. After another passive-aggressive call from my mom about keeping expectations low, she closed her laptop mid-search for affordable wedding alternatives and asked, "Ethan, why are we doing this?" I didn't know. No good anyway. I couldn't surrender. Not yet. Not until I saw how deep the rabbit hole went. It happened at Chloe's bridal shower. Sophia and I weren't invited up front. The mom said it was for her close friends and Chloe wanted it to be intimate. I advised Sophia not to take it personally. This was probably better, I said. Reduced awkwardness and tension. Though she nodded, I could tell it hurt. Sophia doesn't overact. She's considerate and quiet. She doesn't ask much, but being excluded hurt. I noticed she didn't look up when passing Chloe's latest Instagram post. My mom front and center, holding a sign that read, "Mother of the Bride." Then, as if the universe wanted to emphasize, a boomerang of matching silk robes and custom cocktails with a dozen smiling women. The next day, Chloe texted. Not to apologize or include us, just to brag. "Shower was amazing," she said. "Mom and Dad went all out. You wouldn't believe the cake. Had this edible gold stuff on it. Legit." I stared at the message for a minute before taking it down. I remained silent. I couldn't. Not without saying something wrong. However, Sophia's sister Lily called 3 days later to say she had been at the same venue for a friend's baby sprinkle the day before. "Did you know your future in-laws booked out the entire rooftop space for Chloe's shower?" said. "It was insane. I saw photos. Looked like a mini wedding. DJ." My chest cracked. I was told music wasn't funded. That a Bluetooth speaker would work. That chairs were unnecessary. People can stand? They spent thousands on a bridal shower. I started documenting everything then. I wasn't sure what to do with it. Just needed a record. When my parents talked about Chloe's wedding plans, I started saving texts, screenshots, email confirmations, budget spreadsheets, and voice memos, unaware that they were casually admitting to spending money on her that they didn't have for me. It was petty, but it was the first time I had real proof that I wasn't crazy, that I hadn't imagined the favoritism, and that I wasn't being dramatic, as my mom always claimed when I brought up the double standard. Dinner with family followed. I thought my parents invited us over to finalize our backyard wedding. Sophia hesitated. Are we seriously going to sit there and pretend this is okay? Said. I agreed because I needed to finish. I kept gathering evidence because I still wanted to believe there might be an explanation, accountability, or apology. Instead, I was insulted. As usual, dinner began awkwardly. Small talk, food compliments, my mom talking too much, my dad sipping wine like he couldn't wait to leave. Eventually we talked about my wedding, or what was left of it. So my mom folded her napkin neatly. Have you decided what kind of plasticware you want? We found some gold-rimmed plates at Dollar Tree. They're actually really elegant, Sophia said. Plasticware? Well, we assumed you wouldn't want to rent china or anything. It's just a backyard ceremony. I began and stopped speaking. You said you'd help with rentals. She tilted her head. Sophia said, we'd host. That's already a big expense, Ty. Staring at her lap. Her hands clenched. Dad joined in. I erred by mentioning Chloe. Neither aggressive nor accusatory, just gentle. A test. I just find it kind of confusing, I add. That Chloe's shower had a band and catering and custom signs, but we can't even have chairs without it being a problem? The room quieted. My mom froze wine mid-sips. Well, she said slowly. Chloe's wedding is different. How? She's the bride. It's more traditional. Sophia's also a bride. Mom rolled her eyes. It's not a competition, Ethan. Honestly, I hate how everything has to be tit for tat with you. Sophia sighed. She had sparkling eyes. We're not trying to compete, we just want to be treated fairly. Dad scoffed. Chloe didn't ask for a backyard wedding. I realized it wasn't about money. The issue was value. They thought Chloe deserved more. Real bride Chloe. Chloe deserved praise. The dinner ended soon after. Sophia left without saying goodbye. I hardly thanked for dinner before leaving. We drove home silently. First time since we got engaged, I saw a scary crack in Sophia. This doesn't feel like a wedding, she whispered. It feels like charity. I decided that night. We weren't married in the backyard. We wouldn't stand under a rusted garden arch while my parents sat in lawn chairs and pretended to help us. While they handed out Dollar Tree plates and reminded us of our humility, we would smile. No, we'd marry, but not on their terms. I didn't tell them because I wanted them to feel in charge. I wanted them to think they were in charge. I wanted them to keep talking, bragging, and showing their favoritism. The final betrayal arrived in my inbox a week before our backyard ceremony. The email was from Chloe. Quick favor. I expected another brag or a last-minute RSVP question and clicked it. I saw this instead. Hey big bro. So, we need a little help. Jack's cousin just dropped out of the groomsmen lineup, and I was wondering if maybe Sophia could sit this one out and let Jack's buddy, the hot one from New York, LOL, walk with your friend Oliver instead. He already has a suit, and it'll look better in photos. Promise it won't be weird. Let me know. Kiss, Luke. Allow her to skip her wedding. I couldn't breathe. Not just the audacity. It was casual cruelty. She treated Sophia like an extra, a placeholder, an obstacle to her photos, as if our wedding wasn't real and we were just a speed bump on her road to wifehood and Instagram fame. I remained silent. No call. Sophia didn't get the email. I stared at it for hours. This was when the plan came together. Not just change the venue. No way was I reversing our wedding. I would give them joy, dignity, and celebration in a way that was so obvious they couldn't deny it. The best revenge needed an audience, so I had to let the backyard wedding burn longer. My mom's phone call started the next chapter, and what she said was the final nail in the coffin. I don't remember sleeping that night. Sitting in bed, I stared at the ceiling. Sophia curled up beside me, quiet. My phone was face down on the nightstand. I still remember Chloe's email like a branding iron. Let her sit this one out. Like Sophia was sidelined in our wedding her dress rehearsal. That phrase festered my ribs. Next morning, I called in sick. Not physically sick, but hollow and disoriented, like a wave that hadn't receded yet. Sophia kissed and glanced worriedly before leaving for work, but she didn't press. She sensed my need for space. Much of that day was spent walking. Moving through neighborhoods I hadn't seen in years, past empty baseball fields and forgotten parks, with no destination or plan. It was strangely comforting to be silent. I needed thought. Maybe I needed to stop thinking because all my thoughts went in one direction. How did I allow this? How could I tolerate this treatment? I wore my peacekeeper badge proudly for years. Like being agreeable meant strong. But sitting on a bench by a duck pond that smelled like wet leaves and regret, I finally asked myself a question I'd avoided for decades. What did being a peacekeeper get me? No respect, no support, no seat at the important table. Each birthday I'd quietly ignored because Chloe needed more attention that year came to mind. Every family dinner where I hid my opinions because it wasn't time. I didn't brag about every job offer. To avoid overshadowing her, I downplayed every accomplishment. At the edge of my most important day as an adult, I was again asked to shrink, minimize, and make room for her. I confessed to Sophia that night. We split a pint of Rocky Road on the floor of our living room while the TV played a show we didn't like. I opened the email on my laptop. Her face fell as she read. "She wants me to sit out of our wedding," I said. Sophia looked up at me, eyes wide, whispering, "Ethan, this is insane." I didn't argue. For once, I didn't excuse them. I opened a spreadsheet I'd been working on quietly in my spare time. Venues, food trucks, affordable photographers, freelance DJs, and a modest but workable budget were included. Sophia glanced at the screen. "You've been planning this?" "Yeah." I kept my voice steady. "Because I don't want them anywhere near our real wedding." Suddenly something changed. She put down the ice cream and hugged me. The first time in weeks or months I felt seen, not just tolerated or included out of obligation. Seen. From that night on, fall became rise. We secretly worked. Every night after work and weekend, we worked on the details. A last-minute cancellation at a small vineyard an hour from the city gave us one slot. The owners, an older couple semi-retired, offered us a ridiculous discount after hearing our sanitized story. Sophia's cousin, a side gig photographer, offered to shoot the whole thing for half his usual rate. The officiant was our old college friend Naomi, and my co-workers gave us a handmade arch that one built in his garage because, "You've been carrying everyone else on your back for years. Let us carry something for you." The pace was slow. It was quiet. Though built on betrayal, it was ours. I never felt so alive. Schedule conflicts, budget cuts, and the vineyard's generator failure that week made us think we'd lost the slot were all setbacks. Despite everything, we continued. Though there was plenty of love, every moment was driven by something sharper, a determination to change the narrative. Sophia taped a pink cardstock checklist to our fridge. Every box we checked felt like a small rebellion. Create guest list, buy rings, write vows. No family but real. Invitations, sound system rental. We invited friends who had seen us grow, mentors who had guided us, and colleagues who supported us. No unknown plus ones. No duties, just love. I continued to imagine the backyard wedding. Parental texts about potluck signups continued. My mom sent me a blurry Pinterest photo of a donut cake. My dad worried about the sprinkler system disrupting the ceremony. I told them I'd investigate and everything was fine. Instead of being cruel, I smiled through every lie because I knew they didn't deserve to ruin the real version. Pressure increased as the date approached. My mom planned a family unity candle. Chloe demanded a brief speech. Nothing major, promise. She even asked if I could include Jack's nephew in the ceremony to make it feel like a family. Nodded, took notes, promised to return. Sophia bought thrift store decorations and hand-painted signs. Craft paper, string lights, and half-glued centerpieces wreaked havoc in our kitchen. We were exhausted and glowing. My mom called a week before the real wedding, 3 days before the fake one. My phone buzzed as I left the grocery store. Without thinking, I replied. "Ethan," she said. "We have a problem." I stopped beside my car. "What kind of problem?" I was talking to Chloe and she mentioned something odd. She said she saw a Facebook post from one of Sophia's coworkers about a wedding at a vineyard next week, and it had your name tagged in it. My stomach dropped slightly. I told everyone to be quiet, but they're excited. Posts occur. I spoke quietly. "That's weird. Probably just a mix-up." "Is it?" she asked, focusing. "Because Chloe said the vineyard was the one she toured last year. The one she wanted before she settled for the winery downtown. Are you two planning something you haven't told us about?" I paused. Enough to make her wiggle. "Of course not," I concluded. "Why would we do that?" There was silence. A suspicious hum. "Okay," she confirmed. "It would be extremely hurtful if something like that were happening behind our backs." "Wouldn't want to hurt anyone," I said, hanging up before she could continue. Sophia and I wrote our vows that night. We sat on our balcony with string lights above us and the city murmuring below. She read hers first, crying, cracking on the part about building something no one could take away. I didn't cry when it was my turn, but I felt a stillness and peace I hadn't felt in years. Choosing your own story felt like this. My dad texted me a backyard photo 2 days later, the night before the fake wedding. The arch tilted. The chairs clashed. A wind-blown plastic tablecloth covered a folding table. Under it, a grocery store bakery's single-tier cake in a plastic box. "Almost ready for your big day," he wrote. I stared at the image for a long time, not angry or sad, but relieved that I no longer needed their love. Something better was waiting for me one day away. I packed my suit, but they didn't know. Sophia's dress hung at the vineyard. Another friend's free camera crew was on site checking angles and lighting. They never hosted the wedding they thought they would. However, the one we built in its place was quietly, powerfully unfolding without them. They'd soon discover how far I'd gone to redeem myself. After the vows, the first dance, and the sun setting below the vineyard hills, I had one last surprise they would never forget. I woke up before sunrise on the fake wedding day, from the electric tension of knowing that every moment from now on was part of the setup, not nerves or excitement. That today wasn't wedding day. It was Act 1. Mom texted me while the sun was barely rising. "Happy wedding day. Can't believe it's finally here. We're setting everything up. Don't be late." She posted a photo of Chloe in workout clothes holding a stapler and an iced coffee next to the arch, pretending to help. Folding chairs were out. A breeze blew Dollar Tree banners. Half-mowed grass appeared. I got the afterthought wedding they always thought I deserved. They didn't know that the real wedding was already underway 3 hours north in a secluded vineyard between two gentle hills. Sophia and I drove up the night before to pretend to be apart. Sophia checked into the vineyard's small guest house while I stayed with our friend Naomi and her wife. We wanted airtightness. No digital footprints, suspicious activity, or countdown. It had to unfold like a magic trick. Now you see? Now not. I turned off my phone after reading the text. After that, I was unreachable. Everything worked magically at the vineyard. Not storybook-like, but built on sweat, trust, and showing up when it counts. Sophia's cousin Michael checked light angles with his camera lens. Naomi reviewed her script under the arbor our friend Daniel stained and carved. Sophia and I hand-tied ribbon sashes on sturdy whitewood chairs in neat rows. Wildflowers, mason jars, hand-lettered signs, and the food truck we hired to serve dinner smelled like fresh-baked bread. It wasn't lavish, but ours. All attendees wanted to be there. Nobody was guilty. No modesty. Don't pretend modesty hides contempt. Just joy. Absolute joy. I was in the dressing room putting on my tailored navy suit, which I'd saved for over a year. Naomi peered in. "You ready to nuke some bridges?" She grinned. I grinned. "No, I'm ready to walk away from the ashes." The ceremony wasn't live-streamed. Not the point. We recorded it. Michael's drone provides high-quality aerial footage. He wanted to do it as a gift, and we knew what that footage would become. Wedding began at noon. During Sophia's wedding to a soft string rendition of "Can't Help Falling in Love," my mom was pacing her backyard, texting furiously at 12:01. Chloe stormed around her patio at 12:15, demanding answers from empty chairs while we exchanged vows under a sunlit canopy. By 12:30, when Naomi declared us husband and wife and Sophia kissed me with tears in her eyes, I imagined my dad scratching his head and saying, "Well, maybe they got lost." It was nearly poetic. Everything was ready except us. We left. I turned my phone back on after the ceremony while guests mingled and the food truck heated up its griddle. Imagine opening a dam. 9 voicemails, 52 missed messages. 9 from my mom, 3 from my dad, 1 from Chloe saying, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I didn't respond. I requested a favor from Michael. "Can you pull together a short teaser cut?" I asked. Like 1 minute. Quick, emotional, but clean. I wanted to feel like a movie trailer. He grinned and started. I loved that about our group. No lengthy explanations were needed. The assignment was understood. He had it when the reception reached full swing. Perfect teaser. Beginning with a drone shot of the vineyard in golden sunlight, Sophia walks through the vines in her dress, cutting to our vows. "I choose you every time." We kiss. Wide shot of everyone clapping, laughing, music, and dancing under lights to a soft instrumental score that built to wait. Elegant. Intimate. Beautiful. Not to Instagram or Facebook. I watched it once and uploaded it. I uploaded it privately to YouTube. A video called, "To Those Who Said We Couldn't Afford Joy," no tags, no description, no fanfare. I copied the link and sent it to my mom, dad, Chloe, our extended family group chat, and every RSVP'er. Yes. To the backyard wedding. No caption, just link. The reactions could wait. so I turned off my phone again. I wouldn't let them ruin our night. Under lanterns we danced, toasted, and walked slowly through the vineyard. Sophia's dad's speech made people laugh and cry. Naomi read a book quote we both liked. Our guests signed our guest book with names, love letters, inside jokes, and drawings. While the DJ played our song and Sophia pulled me close, I whispered, "Can you believe we did this?" She looked up at me, beaming. "I can now." The fallout hit me the next morning. I used my phone for breakfast. Messages kept coming. Some confused, some furious, some stunned into silence, but none dared say what I thought they would. The video proved my cruelty, so no one accused me. Differences were evident. You felt it. The point was that it's not the climax because the teaser was only part 1. The worst was yet to come. Michael edited the entire video. Every moment of this 20-minute masterpiece is cinematically clear. It would end with something special. A speech. My reception gift. We stood with Sophia and our friends and chosen family, glass in hand. The one where I thanked everyone who helped us build this from scratch. I told the truth without bitterness or rage. I said, sometimes the people who say they love you the most are the same ones who clip your wings in the name of humility. But love that demands silence and smallness isn't love. This is control. We won't let anyone control our joy celebrations. They had no idea that speech would go viral. Not after seeing the teaser. Not when they called and left nice-sounding but sour voicemails. Not after Chloe posted a black and white story saying, "Some people are just ungrateful." I didn't respond either because I wasn't done. Final act was coming. When it hit, they felt everything we felt, twice as hard. I didn't intend virality. I wanted to marry. Making a point was my goal. People notice when you do both with grace, clarity, and receipts. Full wedding video dropped 3 days later. Michael frantically edited and sent me the final cut with the subject line, "Ready to set the internet on fire." It started with a wide vineyard sunset shot. Soft focus guests arriving. Sophia adjusting her veil in the mirror, little trembling in her fingers. Fixing my tie. Naomi shoulder clapping. Slow build, steady beat. Just enough trimming was done to keep the ceremony flowing. But every word, glance and tear remained. Our honest vows. Sophia cracked, "You are my home no matter the house." I shook. I spent years shrinking so others could shine. You taught me that love doesn't ask you to be smaller. The reception followed. Dancing, laughing, glass clinking, and wine-dark hills lit up. Sophia twirling barefoot in grass. Dad hugging me, whispering, "Thank you for loving her the way she deserves." Naomi toasting with 3 inside jokes and a Princess Bride quote. And finally, the speech. I held my glass like a lifeline under the arbor, the stars bright above us. "I want to thank all of you for being here," I say. Not just physically, but truly present. Every person here chose us, not out of obligation, guilt, or expectation, but because they wanted to. That matters more than I can say. Some nodded. Some crying. "There's something that happens when you're the easy child," I said. You get good at making things easier for everyone else. You learn to smile through disappointment, to shrink your joy, to make room for someone else's ego. You become the background character in your own story. End. But then something changes. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's finally being believed. Maybe it's just enough. And one day, you decide that you're done making yourself small. I let that linger. "I won't name names," I said calmly. But this wasn't the wedding I was supposed to have. I was supposed to stand in a backyard next to a plastic table covered in potato salad, surrounded by people who thought I should be grateful for the bare minimum. I was supposed to stay quiet, be humble, be cheap, be invisible, the crowd murmured. I raised my glass to building your own table and inviting people who know how to sit at it. Applause. Some stand. Sophia weeping. I kissed her forehead. Just like that, the video went black. They tried to cancel the wedding. A tale of love, family, and self-determination. Toxic family, golden child, wedding, emotional speech, family drama, standing up for yourself, backyard wedding lie, viral wedding video. It reached 5,000 views in 24 hours. Over 1 million by week's end. The comment section became a digital bonfire every hour. "I don't know you, but I'm crying. This is how you take your power back. Your parents should be ashamed. You did everything with class. Can't believe they tried to gaslight you out of your own wedding." The oldest child who always had to smile signed, "Glad you made it yours." This hit me in the gut. The speech. I stood and clapped at my desk. "Bravo, someone put this in a movie, please." It was featured in wedding blogs, reaction TikToks, and a BuzzFeed roundup of 10 weddings that rejected toxic families. I ignored media hype. I didn't value fame. I quietly watched as the people who always made me feel small realized the world wasn't on their side. Fallout started with a group chat explosion. My mother messaged first. "You made us look like monsters. You humiliated this family. How could you do this to us?" I said. My dad called me 3 times in an hour. I sent everyone to voicemail. His voice went from calm to bitter to desperate. "Ethan, this is getting out of hand. You need to take the video down. Your mother hasn't slept. Chloe's furious. People are asking questions. Do you really want to burn every bridge over this?" "Yes. Yes, I did," Chloe DM'd. She didn't appear subtle. "You manipulative little snake, you're jealous. You've always been jealous. Just because you couldn't afford a real wedding doesn't mean you get to trash mine." I studied the message. I debated responding, considering sending her the receipts, spreadsheets of the money our parents spent on her events while saying they were broke. I didn't because her rage proved it. My revenge went beyond a viral video. Next came the real blow. Sophia and I wrote thank you notes to everyone who attended our real wedding. Personalized, considerate. Each had a photo of that day frozen in time. She twirled barefoot under the arbor. Our first dance. She wiped her eyes. Memory. We didn't write my parents. We sent them something else. Wedding video on DVD. White envelope. Old school. No return address, just a post-it note saying, "Since you missed it, Chloe got a copy too." We never heard back. My aunt, my dad's sister, who'd always been kind to me, called a week later. She reported my parents' damage control. That they told everyone they would help, but Sophia and I wanted to do it alone. They were surprised by our decision. "They're trying to rewrite it," she said. "Thanks, but no one's buying it. Everyone saw the video." She paused. "I'm proud of you." That meant everything. Sophia and I settled into married life with peace I didn't expect. No drama, guilt, or fallout in our home, just the warm, steady hum of something we built from scratch. Not everyone was excluded, not all at once. We let things fade. No more Sunday dinners. No more group texts. We declined Chloe's wedding 2 months later, complete with an Italy honeymoon and luxury photographer. That weekend we hiked in the mountains off the grid. We weren't bitter when the photos of the custom flower wall, glass dance floor, and Chloe's third dress change circulated. We felt nothing because we won our wedding. It went beyond viral. It symbolized the quiet, thunderous reminder that love and joy don't need permission. People who use tradition to hide mistreatment don't deserve your silence. You can make others feel big without shrinking. Choose your ending. Sometimes the best revenge is living a life so full of love they can't rewrite the story without you. You've stopped reading theirs.